You are about to hear something that most people will never believe, but it's happening every single day. There are coins in your pocket right now. Coins you're about to spend that could be worth thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars. And the worst part? Nobody is telling you. These are hidden treasure coins, silent fortunes, and people are losing them every second. This is wheat pennies in circulation, and today we're exposing the coins you must never spend. Check your pocket right now, because if you miss this, you could be throwing away a life-changing opportunity. Now imagine this. You're holding a simple-looking nickel. It feels normal. Same size, same weight, nothing flashy. But something about it is off. The surface, it's got this grey, almost ghost-like tone on the front. Not shiny, not new. It looks old, tired, like it's been through something. And then you flip it over, and that's when your heart should start racing. Because the back, the Monticello building, it's not clean. It's not perfect. It's got these rusty brown and green spots spreading across the surface like time itself left fingerprints on it. Most people would ignore that. Most people would think it's damaged. But collectors, they see something completely different. They see a hidden treasure. This is the 1961D Jefferson nickel, minted in Denver during a time when America was under pressure. The early 1960s tension was building, the Cold War was real, the economy was shifting, and the U.S. Mint was pushing out coins fast to keep up with demand. That kind of pressure, that kind of speed, it creates imperfections. And those imperfections are where the money is. This coin is made from a copper-nickel blend. 75% copper, 25% nickel. It weighs exactly 5 grams. The diameter sits at 21.2 millimeters with a thickness of about 1.95 millimeters. Feels solid, feels ordinary. But that's the trap, because hidden inside that ordinary feel is serious money. Look at the front, the obverse. You've got Thomas Jefferson staring forward. Calm, still, but if you look closer, the details matter. The texture of the hair, the sharpness of the lettering. Liberty, in God we trust. The date, 1961, these tiny details, this is what collectors obsess over. This is where the difference between a 5-cent coin and a 6-figure payday lives. Now flip it again. The reverse. Monticello. That iconic building. But here's where things get intense. Those brown and green spots, that's not just dirt. That's natural toning. That's age reacting with the environment. And when it happens just right, it creates a one-of-a-kind surface. No two coins like it. This is what makes collectors stop, stare, and fight for it. And yes, I said fight. Because coins like this, in very fine condition, with original surfaces, untouched, uncleaned, they don't just show up. They survive. Barely. Most were spent, damaged, cleaned, destroyed. And once a coin is cleaned, it's over. Value gone. History erased. That's why I'm telling you right now, do not clean this coin. Do not try to fix it. That gray tone, those spots, that's the story. That's the money. And here is where it gets real. This exact type of coin has reached market values around $120,200. That's not pocket change. That's a silent fortune. That's life-changing wealth sitting in something people ignore every single day. Collectors know this. That's why when one of these shows up at auction, it gets quiet. Then intense. Then aggressive. Bids start climbing. Fast. Nobody wants to let go. And the people who own them, they're holding. They're not selling. Because they know. Supply is shrinking. Demand is rising. And this coin, this exact coin, is special. So if you ever come across a 1961 nickel with a D mint mark, you better stop. You better look closely. Check the color. Check the texture. Check the details. That tiny D under the year, that matters more than you think. That's Denver. That's part of the story. That's part of the value. And listen carefully. Do not spend this coin. I don't care if it looks worn. I don't care if it looks strange. That could be the detail that changes everything. Get it professionally graded. Protect it, because once it's gone, it's gone. This is not just a coin. This is hidden treasure. This is quiet wealth. This is a life-changing opportunity hiding in your everyday change. And if you think this is crazy, if you think this is shocking, just wait until you see the next coin. Because the next one is even rarer, even more dangerous to ignore. And what collectors are doing to get it will leave you speechless. You might want to stop whatever you're doing, because this next coin is one of those silent fortunes that people are literally throwing away without a second thought. I'm serious. This is the kind of coin that slips through your fingers at a gas station, disappears into a vending machine, or gets dumped into a jar, and just like that, $70,000 is gone. Gone. And nobody even notices. This is not fiction. This is real. And if you're not paying attention, you could be losing a hidden treasure that collectors are quietly chasing right now. Now picture this. A 1975 Jefferson nickel. Denver mint. Nothing special at first glance. You've probably seen dozens, maybe hundreds of them. But then you catch the color. It's not normal. The surface starts pulling you in. You see this deep, rust-brown tone blending into flashes of green. And then blue. Not bright, not artificial, but this natural, almost electric blue that dances across both the front and the back of the coin. That's when you realize this is not an ordinary nickel. This is something else. This coin was born in 1975, a time when the United States was dealing with economic pressure, inflation was rising, and the mint was pushing coins out fast to keep up with demand. That kind of pressure leaves marks. It creates conditions where certain coins develop unique surfaces over time, and only a tiny number survive in a state that collectors actually want. That's where this coin steps into a completely different league. The composition is the classic blend. 75% copper, 25% nickel. It weighs 5 grams, just like every standard Jefferson nickel. The diameter is 21.2 millimeters, thickness right around 1.95 millimeters. In your hand, it feels completely normal. That's the dangerous part, because everything about this coin says ordinary, until you really look. On the obverse, you've got Thomas Jefferson. But in this case, the surface tells a story. That mix of brown, green, and blue toning, that's natural aging. That's years of chemical reactions, storage conditions, and environmental exposure coming together in a way that cannot be duplicated. Collectors don't just like this, they hunt for it. Because no two coins tone the same way. This is one-of-one energy. Flip it over to the reverse. Monticello stands there like always. But again, it's not about the building. It's about what's happening on the surface. That color flow, that antique, almost artistic look, it transforms this coin into something that feels alive. Something rare. Something valuable. And here's the truth most people don't understand. Coins like this were never meant to look like this. This is time creating art. And collectors are willing to pay serious money for it. Now let's talk about survival. Because this is where things get intense. Most 1975D nickels were used, worn down, damaged, cleaned, And once a coin is cleaned, it's destroyed in the eyes of a collector. Value gone. Just like that. That's why I need you to hear this clearly. Never clean this coin. That toning, that color, that's the treasure. That's what makes it worth serious money. And in fine condition, with original surfaces intact, coins like this have reached market values around $70,000. Let that sink in. $70,000, hiding in something people don't even look at twice. This is hidden wealth. This is a silent fortune. This is the kind of coin that can change everything if you recognize it in time. Collectors know exactly what to look for. That small D mint mark from Denver, right there next to the date, it matters. The color distribution matters. The texture matters. The originality matters. Even the smallest detail can push a coin from ordinary onto a life-changing opportunity. And when one of these shows up in the market, things get quiet, then competitive, then aggressive. Because serious collectors are not playing games. They want it, and they're willing to fight for it. And here's the scary part. Demand is rising. Supply is shrinking. People who understand these coins are holding on to them. They're not letting go. Which means the next time one appears, the price could go even higher. This is not just a collectible. This is a hidden treasure that's getting harder to find every single day. So if you come across a 1,975 nickel with a Denver mint mark, stop. Don't rush. Look closely. Check that color. Check that surface. Feel it. Study it. Because what looks like a worn-out coin could actually be a quiet piece of wealth sitting right in your hand. And listen to me carefully. Do not spend this coin. Do not clean it. Protect it. Get it professionally graded. Because one mistake, one wrong move, and that $70,000 opportunity is gone forever. This coin is special. This coin is a treasure. This coin is worth serious money. And most people will never even realize they had it. But if you think this is unbelievable, if you think this is already on another level, the next coin, the final coin, is even more shocking, even more rare. And what it's worth will make everything you've seen so far feel small. Stay with me, because this last one is where everything changes. This is it, the moment most people miss, the coin that slips through hands every single day while carrying a silent fortune inside it. And I'm telling you right now, this one is dangerous to ignore. Because what looks like an old, dark, worn-out nickel is actually one of the most shocking hidden treasures still hiding in circulation. People see it, they don't recognize it, and they spend it. Just like that. Gone. $170,000 gone like it never existed. This is not hype. This is not a story. This is real money hiding in plain sight. Now imagine pulling out a nickel and it doesn't shine. It doesn't look clean. It doesn't look collectible. Instead, it's dark. Almost black. Both sides. Like it's been sitting in the shadows for decades. And then you notice something else. Tiny green spots creeping across the surface. Most people would instantly think it's ruined, damaged, worthless. And that's exactly why they lose it. Because what they're actually holding is a 1,941 Jefferson nickel with no mint mark. A coin born at a moment in history where everything was about to change. 1,941, right before the United States fully entered World War II. The economy was shifting. Metal demand was rising. The mint was preparing for massive changes that would come just a year later with wartime coin compositions. This period created coins under pressure, coins that would later become incredibly important to collectors. And this specific nickel, with no mint mark, means it was struck in Philadelphia, quietly, without that extra letter, and sometimes that silence is where the value hides. The composition is classic for the time: 75% copper, 25% nickel. No silver yet, that came later during the war. It weighs 5 grams. Diameter sits at 21.2 millimeters. Thickness right around 1.95 millimeters. It feels completely normal in your hand. That's what makes it so easy to overlook. That's what makes it so easy to lose. But then you look closer, really close. On the obverse, Thomas Jefferson is there like always. But the surface is deep, dark, almost blackened with age. That's not damage. That's decades of natural toning building layer by layer. And those small green spots? That's oxidation, a sign of originality. A sign this coin has not been cleaned, not been messed with. And in the collector world, that is everything. Flip it over. Monticello stands on the reverse. But again, it's not about the building. It's about that surface, that dark, antique look, that untouched feel. It tells a story that cannot be recreated. You can't fake decades of aging. You can't manufacture that kind of presence. And collectors know it the second they see it. Now here's where things get serious. Survival. Coins from 1941 were heavily circulated, used daily, worn down, lost, melted into history. And the few that survived, most were cleaned by people trying to make them look better. And that destroys the value instantly. Completely. That's why I need to say this clearly. Never clean this coin. That dark surface, those green spots, that is the treasure. That is what makes collectors stop and pay attention. Because in fine condition, with original surfaces intact, coins like this have reached values around $170,000. Let that hit you. $170,000 sitting in something most people would ignore. This is hidden wealth. This is serious money. This is a life-changing opportunity hiding in a coin people don't even look at twice. Collectors are not casual about this. When a coin like this appears, bidding doesn't start loud. It starts quiet, focused. Then it builds, fast. Because the people in that room, or behind those screens, they know exactly what they're looking at. And they're not letting it go easily. Many of these coins, they're locked away in collections. Held tight. Not sold. Because demand keeps rising, and supply keeps shrinking. So if you ever come across a 1941 Jefferson nickel with no mint mark, dark surfaces, and those subtle green spots, stop everything. Look at it again, and again, because this is where the smallest detail changes everything. That missing mint mark, that untouched toning, that aged surface, it all adds up to something powerful. Do not spend this coin. Don't even think about it. And never clean it. Protect it. Preserve it exactly as it is. Get it professionally graded. Because one wrong move, and that $170,000 silent fortune disappears forever. This coin is not just old metal. This coin is a hidden treasure. This coin is quiet wealth. This coin is worth serious money. And if it crosses your path, you need to recognize it before it's too late. Because now you know. And once you know, you can't unsee it. You think you've seen it all. You think you've already checked your coins. But this next one? This is the kind of coin that hides in plain sight and fools almost everyone. It doesn't look old. It doesn't scream rare. In fact, it looks like something you'd spend without even thinking. And that's exactly why people are losing it every single day. $60,000, slipping through fingers like it's nothing. This is one of those silent fortunes that doesn't announce itself. It just waits for someone smart enough to notice. Picture this: a 1993 Jefferson nickel, Philadelphia Mint. That small P mark sitting there quietly, almost invisible if you're not paying attention. At first glance, it looks newer compared to the others. Not ancient, not dramatic, but then the color hits you. That yellowish-brown tone, warm, almost golden in certain light, spreading across the surface in a way that just feels different. Not shiny, not dull, something in between, something unusual. And that's where the story begins. 1993, America was moving fast. The economy was shifting, technology was rising, and coin production was massive. The US Mint was pushing out millions upon millions of nickels. But here's the truth nobody talks about. When coins are produced in huge numbers under constant demand, small variations slip through. Tiny differences in metal mix, striking pressure, storage conditions, and, over time, those differences turn into rarity. This coin carries the standard composition: 75% copper, 25% nickel, 5 grams in weight, diameter of 21.2 millimeters, thickness right around 1.95 millimeters. It feels like every other nickel. That's the danger, because nothing about its size or weight warns you that you could be holding serious money. Now look closer at the obverse. Thomas Jefferson. Same portrait, but the surface tells a completely different story. That yellowish-brown toning, that's not damage. That's natural aging interacting with the environment in a very specific way. It creates depth, warmth, character. And collectors, they love that. Because it means originality. It means the coin hasn't been touched, cleaned, or destroyed by someone trying to fix it. Flip it over, Monticello on the reverse. Clean structure. But again, it's all about that tone. That subtle golden brown layer that gives it an almost antique feel, even though it's a modern-era coin. That contrast, that confusion, is exactly what makes it so valuable. Because coins like this weren't supposed to look like this. And when they do, collectors pay attention. Now let's talk rarity, because this is where it gets real. Most 1993 nickels are still out there. But not like this. Not with this kind of toning. Not in extra fine condition with original surfaces intact. Most have been scratched, cleaned, or worn down into nothing special. And once a coin is cleaned, it's finished. Value gone instantly. So hear this clearly, never clean this coin. That yellowish-brown tone, that's the hidden treasure. That's what collectors are chasing. And yes, coins like this have reached market values around $60,000. $60,000. For a coin people ignore every single day. This is hidden wealth. This is quiet money. This is the kind of opportunity that changes everything if you catch it at the right moment. Collectors are watching for these. They're checking surfaces, studying color, hunting for originality. That small P mint mark, it matters. The condition, it matters even more. Extra fine means the details are still strong, still alive, still telling the story of the coin's journey without being destroyed. And when one of these shows up in the market, it doesn't sit there waiting. It moves. Fast. Quiet bids, then aggressive jumps. Because serious collectors know coins like this are disappearing. People are either losing them or holding them tight, not letting go. So if you ever come across a 1993 Jefferson nickel, don't just glance at it. Stop. Look at the color. Look at the surface. Look for that warm yellow-brown tone that feels different from everything else. Because that one detail could be the difference between 5 cents and $60,000. Do not spend this coin. Don't make that mistake, and never clean it. Protect it exactly as it is. Get it professionally graded. Because once you lose that original surface, you lose the value forever. This coin is special. This coin is a hidden treasure. This coin is worth serious money. And most people will never even realize they had it sitting right in their pocket. Ever get that feeling like something small, something you almost ignored, could actually be worth a fortune? Because this next coin, this one right here, is exactly that kind of danger. People are spending it, dropping it, ignoring it. And just like that, $150,000 disappears into thin air. No warning, no second chance. This is one of those hidden treasure coins that doesn't look like money, but it is serious money. And if you don't know what to look for, you will lose it. Now imagine this. You're holding a 1946 Jefferson nickel. No mint mark, just a simple date, sitting there quietly. Most people wouldn't even pause. But then, the color catches your eye. That yellowish-brown tone, warm, aged almost golden in the right light. It doesn't look shiny. It doesn't look new. It looks experienced, like it's been through history. And that's because it has. 1946, right after World War II. America was transitioning. The war had just ended. The economy was shifting from military production back to civilian life. The U.S. Mint was adjusting again, moving away from wartime silver nickels back to the traditional copper-nickel composition. Transition period. It created coins under unique conditions. Pressure, change, and inconsistency, and those factors, they leave marks that collectors hunt for today. This coin is made from 75% copper and 25% nickel. No more wartime silver mix. Back to the standard, but not without its story. It weighs 5 grams. Diameter is 21.2 millimeters. Thickness sits at about 1.95 millimeters. In your hand, it feels like every other nickel. That's the illusion. Because hidden inside that normal feel is a silent fortune. Now look closely at the obverse. Thomas Jefferson, steady as always. But the surface, that yellowish-brown tone, it's not random. It's the result of decades of natural aging. Air, moisture, storage conditions, all combining to create a surface that cannot be copied. That's originality. That's what collectors want. That's where the money is. Flip it over. Monticello stands strong on the reverse. But again, it's not about the building. It's about the surface. That same warm tone flowing across the design, giving it that antique, untouched look. This is what separates a regular coin from a hidden treasure. Because coins like this weren't meant to look like this. Time made it special. And here's something most people completely miss. There's no mint mark. That means Philadelphia. And while that might sound normal, in the right condition, with the right surface, it becomes incredibly important. Because fewer coins survive in very fine condition with original toning intact. Most were spent hard, worn down, or worse, cleaned. And cleaning, that's the biggest mistake you can make. Listen carefully, never clean this coin. That yellowish-brown tone, that's not dirt. That's not damage. That's value. The second you try to polish it, wipe it, improve it, you destroy the very thing that makes it worth serious money. Gone. Just like that. Now let's talk about what this coin is really worth, because this is where it hits hard. Coins like this, in very fine condition, with original surfaces, have reached market values around $150,000. That's not pocket change. That's life-changing wealth. That's hidden money sitting in something people overlook every single day. Collectors know exactly what this is. That's why, when one appears, the room changes. Bidding starts low, quiet, then builds fast. Because serious collectors are not waiting around. They know the supply is shrinking. They know these coins are being lost, spent, or destroyed. And when they find one, they hold it tight, not letting go. So if you ever see a 1946 Jefferson nickel, no mint mark, with that warm, yellowish-brown tone, stop. Take a second. Then take another. Look at the details. Look at the surface. Because this is where everything changes. This is where a simple coin turns into a hidden fortune. Do not spend this coin. Don't make that mistake. And never clean it. Protect it exactly as it is. Get it professionally graded. Because one wrong move, and that $150,000 opportunity disappears forever. This coin is not ordinary. This coin is a treasure. This coin is quiet wealth, hiding in plain sight. And now, you know. But here's the real question. How many of these have already slipped through your hands without you ever noticing?